Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on wherever you're watching me from. First, let me introduce myself. Okay, so my name is Munachimso Jean Ichukwu. I am originally Nigerian from Nigeria. I grew up in Nigeria till I was about 13 years old or 12 years old between. I came to the United States of America and I've been in the States ever since. If you guys don't know, I forgot to say I am from Imo State, Mbise, in Yogugo to be precise. But I grew up in Mbano. So my Igbo doesn't have that Mbise accent. I really wish he did, but I my Igbo sounds Mbano, which is also fine because Mbano is my maternal home. So Igbo is Igbo. Anyways, I've given you guys a quick introduction. So the topic that I really wanted to talk about is um your native language, or should I say our native language. The reason why I really wanted to talk about it is because, like I said earlier, I grew up in Nigeria. So growing up, you know, Igbo language is what my parents spoke to me and my siblings. But that was our way of communication, except when we went to school, you know, you have to not speak your language, you have to speak English because they were trying to teach us English. But even other than that, after school with your friends, you spoke Igbo, because that's your language. And then coming to America, you know, being around different ethnicities, different group of people, different race, seeing everything, you know, as I am right now, it just made me realize how proud I am to identify to be an Igbo woman or to be an Igbo person. Because when I see the things that I've seen, I'm like, just I thank God that I am from where I'm from. Like I would never regret it. I've never regretted it in my life. So I just to me it's such a blessing. And also being in America, also I have seen, you know, kids who don't speak Igbo language. Some of them understand, most of them don't understand, they don't speak. And in the situation in America, when parents, especially African parents that come to America, they work. They have two jobs, some people have three jobs. Like there's not even any time for them to rest. So being away from home and raising up kids is already hard. But because of their life and the things they do for a living requires them to be at work so they can be able to provide for their children, so they're not really at work, I mean at home. So that's also a big impact on why their kids don't speak the language, because some of them being born here, they have daycare and stuff like that, so they're not surrounded with their families or their parents because their parents work all the time. So it's fair, because they didn't speak it because the parents are not really there. But even at that, even if like your children don't know how to speak their native language, okay. But I still feel like parents should teach them make like teach them to understand their cultures and tradition. Like teach them their roots, you know, talk about their grandparents, tell them, make sure you just tell them everything about what it is to be an Igbo person. Because to me, to be an Igbo person is not just to have the name, you know, it's not just to um dress up, like wear the native attire because oh your parents are from Nigeria. To me, that's not all. There's more to it. Teach them about their grandparents. Even if you saw your own great grandparents, teach them. Let them know, cultures and tradition. Teach them all those things. So even if they don't know how to speak the language, at least when they go out and they are surrounded by other Igbo people and they're talking, they are able to say, join the conversation, even if they're speaking English, but they know what they're talking about. So that's my own point, like how I see, you know, these things. And I think the ones that annoy me the most are the ones that are living in Nigeria, but their kids don't know how to speak their native language because you just have this perspective of, outside Nigerian mindset, like American mindset. So you raise your kids based on Americans' lifestyle. But again, it makes no sense because you do not live in America, so you don't know how people here live. What you see on social media is not all true. Social media, people put things out there what they want you to see. So you can't be raising a kid based off of how people live in any other country. So I just feel like it's very, very sad that you have children growing up in Nigeria, living in Nigeria, and they don't know how to speak their native language. I honestly think it's sad because right now the kids don't know the impact or anything. But when they grow up, some of them would regret that they didn't know how. Like they hate that they never learned, you know. I know people who are like that. They tell me, oh, they wish that their parents taught them, you know. So that's why I said you have to teach them because you, as the parent, you and your husband are, you communicate in Igbo. That's how you guys talk to each other. And you understand what it means for when it comes to the topics of like land, like sharing a land or owning a land from passed down from your father, their grandparents to, their own parents. You people, you understand, cultures and tradition, things like that. Teach your children because the knowledge will die with you. They won't learn anything. So I just feel like, we need to kind of do better in that aspect. If your kids are growing up in Nigeria, teach them their native language. English is a language that came to us. you know, we don't own English language. The same way if you see an Indian person, you can tell they're Indian because of their attire, maybe sometimes, or just when they speak English, you can tell that they have an accent and you'd be like, oh, this is it's an Indian, yes. That's how it's supposed to be. When you see them around their family, they speak their own, native language. So I think that's how it should be with, the Igbos or even any tribe, all the tribes in Africa. Just teach your children their native language. Because a lot of people come to America and, you know, I feel like they just don't do it. because of the kind of, life they're trying to build for the children. And there's nothing wrong with that, obviously, trying to give the kids the best. But at the same time, sometimes I'm like, if you don't teach your children things like that, you can't expect them to act that certain way or act Nigerian or Igbo. But you never taught them. So that's very unrealistic. They can't act something that they were never taught or they never learned. So I feel like we really, really need to work on that. And the parents in Nigeria, teach your kids their native language, because even this America, when they see you talking in your native tongue, they're very intrigued. They're like, what are you saying? Like, they want to know more or learn more. So it's good when you like teach your kids, because if your kids come over here and they're speaking English and they ask them where they're from, they're from Nigeria, they'll be like, oh, what's your native language? Like, can you speak in your native language? And your kids said no. No, it makes them feel bad, because they know their native language, they just don't know how to speak it. And even if they know some of the words, it's just the usual words they hear their parents say, like bia, were, gasa, like words like that is just something frequently they hear the parents say. And those are the ones they know. So, like I said, I feel like we really, really need to do better. And I feel like we as Nigerians need to stop copying from other countries, because it's really sad because other countries, when they copy from us, they take our good things, they take the good parts of it and turn it into their own. So if we're going to copy, let's copy with good mentality. Let's take the ones that we can apply into our life, that will better our life and our society. you know that's just my opinion. That's how, like, I see it. Like I said, we just need to do better. And I remember talking to my mom a couple weeks ago, because I think I saw a video on Facebook or something. So I told my mom, I said, I think it's sad that Nigerian parents here, no, I wouldn't say sad, but I feel like there's a way I see it that I feel like it's not really, it wouldn't be what I want for my own, children. But I told her it's good that we Igbos in America, wherever part we are, build houses in our motherland, in our father's land and stuff like that. I told her that's very good. But the part that I'm finding it kind of difficult, I guess I could say that, is knowing that your children don't know the culture and tradition. Because at some point, everybody will die one day. Reality. Those houses, those land, you have to give it to your sons, share it. But my own part in that is, if your kids don't know the value, don't know how the land became their grandfather or their fathers, what's the point? Because sometimes they could sell it. They were raised in America, so they probably wouldn't even go back to Nigeria if they marry and have children. So what's the point? My mom was like, that actually I'm making a point. I told her, no, seriously, like I had to think about it. Like, if your kids don't even know their own cultures and tradition, what is the point of building all those houses? Because when you build it, you can maintain it for now. But what happens when you pass away? Your kids have to take over, like take care of it. So if your kids don't know anything, culture and tradition, how? They could easily sell it without knowing, or like the value of how the land became their grandparents or their fathers, you know. Like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's literally how I was thinking about it. So when it comes to things like that, teach them so they would know, you know. Just, you can't be doing all these things back home, which is good. It's good that we're investing, everybody's building houses in their father's house in the village and things like that. But you're the only one who truly knows why you did it and the value of you doing it, but your children don't. So to me, I feel like we really, really need to do better at teaching our children. And I see videos of Nigerian men marrying like Uyibo, Asian, wherever they are, and their kids are very, very fluent in Igbo. And I'm like, it makes me happy to see videos like that, because it just shows that it doesn't matter who your partner is, it doesn't matter the race your partner is from or where your partner is from. You can teach your child how to speak their native language. Seriously, it that's literally all it means. And most of the kids here in America, they only like the good parts of being Nigeria, like the music, the dressing traditionally. It's pretty much it, the food. But when you see them outside that, if you go to Nigerian parties here, everybody is Nigerian, we're all dancing. If you see them someplace like school or like a store, the kids act like they don't know you. So they claim just that those parts that I mentioned, and that's pretty much it. That's Yeah, that's all they care about. So to me, I just feel like we just need to do better, because me as I am, I can't even imagine not claiming that I'm Igbo. That's literally what gives me gives me the pride that I have, knowing that if I step out wherever I go, I can't be like, I won't compare myself to the, because I know my worth, I know my value, I know where I'm from, I know my father's people, I know my mother's people, like I know their extended family, their cousin, like that. I know my culture, and that just it just gives me some kind of energy, like when I step in the room, it's like me and you, we're not the same. you know I don't know if that makes sense, but that's seriously how I really think about it. So I just feel like we should do better at teaching them, and just so for our next generation of children, so that our dialect would not go extinct, which I think in thousands of years probably wouldn't. But celebrities in Nigeria need to do better, um, with their kids, teaching them, because half of them, their kids don't know their native language, even though they live in Nigeria. On top of that, you gave your child an English name. You give them Igbo name or whatever tribe, wherever other tribe they're from, but you don't call them by that. You decide to call them by their English name. I just feel like, again, English came to Nigeria. It's not our language. So we just need to do better. Call your kids their native name, because that's who they are, you know. Again, just my opinion. Is literally what I have been thinking for a very, very long time. And with what I have also seen in America, I just feel like teach them. And I appreciate my mother keeping it, teaching us, even after we moved to America. We all speak Igbo. Even my younger brother, like the youngest, he speaks Igbo. But if my mother would have stopped when we came to America because he was very young, he probably wouldn't have known how to speak it. But because everybody in the household, that's what we spoke. That's what he learned. So, yes, I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, share, comment, like. and just keep tuned, and you guys should just tell me what you think about this video, and I'll try to be uploading at least once a week. But I want you guys to just subscribe and stay tuned, and just watch out for the next video. Thank you guys